Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming back for another WeGo podcast, YouTube video, WEIGO podcast, a spinoff of the actual podcast, What Else is Going On with Taria S. Faison, which you can find everywhere you find your podcast. So happy holidays to everyone who celebrates. I hope if you celebrated Thursday that you had a wonderful time, whether it's with family, chilling at home by yourself, doing whatever it is that you want to do. Because I know sometimes I like to be home too. So whatever you did on Thursday, I hope you just had a relaxing, getting back to yourself type of day. I had family and friends over. And let me tell you, me and my girlfriend performed about a 2-hour R&B concert. We was everybody from Blackstreet to, I don't think we didn't do Mary J. Blige. We was Escape. We was the five heartbeats. Somebody was David Ruffin. We were, what's that? Ghost Town. Boy, you should know that I got you on my mind. We was everybody. So we performed for like over 2.5 hours and was not sore the next morning. Tired? Yes. Sore? No. Speaking of tired, that's why I'm sitting in front of my accent wall instead of where I have been recording lately in front of our faux fireplace, because I don't feel like getting up and moving everything. I just do not, and setting up. But I went and got my iron pills today. I realized that I haven't been taking my iron pills for about 2 to 3 months because I'm like, why am I tired? And I got to stop being on the Red Bull. No, I do take a woman's one a day metabolism. They don't sell them in the stores, but they sell them online, and that helps. But sometimes you just have a feeling of overall just tiredness in your body. And I think I realized I haven't been taking my iron pill. So we're getting all that together, not even for 2024. Like for now, I need it together now. But I wanted to come to y'all and do a couple of videos. Thank you again for those of y'all that are supporting. I appreciate it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I have to get used to saying that. There's a couple of housewife things first that I wanted to talk to y'all about. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Let's talk about somebody who I have talked about on the podcast before. I think I may have mentioned her in 1 or 2 YouTube videos, but we're going to talk about John Mellencamp's wife's daughter, Teddi Mellencamp. So this was interesting. RHOBH producer Alex Baskin explains why Teddi Mellencamp was fired from the show. Teddi Mellencamp and Tamra Judge welcomed Real Housewives of Beverly Hills executive producer Alex Baskin to their podcast earlier this month, where Teddi questioned Alex about why she was fired. Just over 3 years after she took to her Instagram page to share that she'd been axed after 3 seasons, Teddi asked Alex about the decision. Why did I get fired? Teddi asked on the November 10th episode of 2 T's in a Pod. And Tamra said, oh, shoot, but it wasn't shoot. It was, the other word. Oh, God, that's tough, Alex admitted. In yours, I think there was a strong audience reaction to you. We know that our reactions, the viewing audience, and our voices play a role, especially during this time, the time period that we're in now. They're definitely taking a survey and listening to the audience. So he said, oh God, that's tough. In yours, I think there was a strong audience reaction to you. So I do think that was part of it. Not going to deny that. And I also think that you were self-conscious. Right away, Tamra of the Real Housewives of Orange County agreed, telling Alex she's very in her head. Although Teddi wasn't kept around for the 11th season, Alex said that he and his team actually appreciated what Teddi brought to the show. The production always had your back, was a big fan of yours because you would say things that other people were thinking and wouldn't, before adding, I think it felt like then on the show, you weren't comfortable in your own skin. I think that was the issue. Yeah, Teddi replied. In October 2022, 1 month after confirming her exit from RHOBH, Teddi explained why she believed she was cut from the show. Now, this was, remember, she said this October of 2022. I think it's because you didn't see a lot of me other than in drama this year. If you only see me when I'm in an argument, it's hard to see the whole picture. I wish we could have seen more of the fun stuff, but it's a TV show. Her and Tamra having Alex Baskin, the producer, on the podcast makes me wonder if there is room, or are they trying to make room for or see if the audience is now having a different reaction to her, the answer is no, we're not. Leave her over there with 2 T's in their pod, and that'll be that on that. I think it was a good decision to make. Now, listen, them bringing her back, if she did, wouldn't stop me from watching the show. I very rarely, and I mean rarely, advocate for someone losing their job because that's income, right? That woman, the ex-Real Housewife of Orange County, with the initials KD, Kelly Dodd, might as well just go ahead on and say it. She's one. I wasn't going to sign no petition, start a petition, but I made very clear that I had no problem with her not being brought back and her being let go. I didn't wish that she was fired, but I was hoping she didn't come back. She's one of the very few that I have felt in my spirit, I don't want you back on my TV. And I could care less about it being maybe your main source of income. That may sound harsh, but that's just how strongly I felt about her. So I don't ever wish that somebody, of course, would lose their source of income when you put it like that. However, I don't want to see Teddi back, but I don't have such a strong feeling as I did with Kelly. If she comes back, again, that's not going to stop me from watching the show. I would probably just fast forward her scenes. All right, moving on. Let's talk some more about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Let's talk about newcomer AnneMarie, which we still haven't been introduced to her yet. I'm a episode or 2 behind on Beverly Hills. I got to catch up this weekend, but this is a trigger warning from what I am about to talk about. Give you a couple seconds. I'm going to read a headline that I'm sure you guys read a couple days ago, but I want to get a little bit more into it. So, Real Housewife of Beverly Hills newcomer AnneMarie Wiley's husband, Marcellus, accused of 1994 rape in new lawsuit. So, as you know, AnneMarie is the new Black housewife they brought on. The husband of Real Housewife of Beverly Hills newcomer AnneMarie Wiley has been accused of rape in a new lawsuit. A student who attended Columbia University at the same time as Marcellus Wiley nearly 3 decades ago sued him Tuesday in the New York Supreme Court under the Adult Survivors Act, alleging that he attacked her in the fall of 1994 when he was a sophomore and star football player. According to the lawsuit, which was obtained by the Post, Marcellus allegedly forced himself on the woman in her freshman dorm room. The woman alleged that Marcellus, 48, ignored her verbal objections and took her virginity, which she claimed later drove her to attempt suicide. Wiley's actions were intentionally designated to cause plaintiff severe emotional distress or were taken with reckless disregard of the significant and or substantial probability of causing plaintiff severe emotional distress, her lawsuit states. The woman, a professor and sociologist with a focus on race and culture, claimed she and Marcellus were friends when he invited himself to her dorm, allegedly telling her he wanted to eat dinner together and listen to music. She allegedly told Marcellus she was a virgin and not interested in having sex with him, but she claimed he laughed in response and said, "Ain't nobody trying to have sex with no virgin. Don't worry, I got you. Just coming to hang out while I eat. I don't even have condoms on me." However, the woman alleged that the 250-pound athlete almost immediately ripped off her clothes when he got there and forced her face down onto the mattress. She claimed she could barely breathe and feared for her life as Marcellus allegedly, I've said it quite a few times now, I'm not sure how YouTube is, so I should probably continue by saying "ard" her multiple times. According to her suit, she managed to get away from Marcellus, but he allegedly verbally threatened and physically yanked her back onto the bed for another round. Marcellus denied the woman's claim in a lengthy YouTube video on Wednesday. The hour-long video started off with a slate with text that read, "Big media is reckless and irresponsible to run with any story that is a flat-out lie. Everyone should be innocent until proven guilty. And in my case, you know the guilty part ain't happening. That's why I'm a partner with Brinks.TV." Later on in the video, Marcellus said, "If you're a virgin, I'm not going to be your first because I'm not looking at it with the same respect, esteem, and honor that you should. We did mess around, but no vaginal intercourse." He initially insisted, later admitted they did have sex. So notice, he said they messed around with no vaginal intercourse. then later admitted that the two did have sex. So we know there's different types. So Marcellus went on to accuse the woman of talking trash and spreading lies to help her cope with the shame she felt for cheating on her boyfriend at the time. She felt ashamed to mess with me when she got caught. She didn't feel ashamed inviting me over. She only felt shame when she knew there was no future with me, he claimed. Now, in her lawsuit, the woman said she confided in a friend about the alleged attack and then reported it to several Columbia University administrators, all of whom displayed fondness for then NFL hopeful. I'm sorry, who allegedly displayed fondness for the NFL hopeful. One of the administrators allegedly showed the woman's victim statement to Marcellus, who just disagreed that it was R. The woman also claimed that the administrator told her she had misunderstood the encounter because she was born in Africa and Marcellus was American, and people from different cultures interpret things differently. Marcellus, who also claimed in his YouTube video that he would countersue for defamation, received minimal punishment. He was placed on academic probation in order to complete the spring 1995 semester from his home in Los Angeles. He then returned to the New York City campus and the team. So if he was innocent, why then would he be placed on probation and forced to complete the term from his home if he was innocent? The woman and the friend who encouraged her to report the incident allegedly received harassing phone calls in the months that followed. In the spring of 1996, the woman said she tried to end her life, after which she was admitted to a locked hospital ward for 2 weeks before being released. She claimed she and Marcellus were later forced to share class together. The woman later became active in the university's chapter of Take Back the Night, an organization that focuses on ending sexual, relationship, and domestic violence, where she allegedly met other women who claimed they were R'd by the same man. Columbia was named in her lawsuit over allegations of negligence and reckless failure to protect its students from sexual predators. Reps for the university did not immediately respond to his request for comment. So now I want to read y'all something else. On Twitter, because I'm not calling it X. On Twitter, November 22nd, the New York Post tweeted this: former NFL star, ex-ESPN analyst Marcellus Wiley accused of R-ing fellow Columbia student in 1994. A gentleman by the name of James Stotteraux, at JSTOTERAUX, retweeted that and said, "This is just the tip of the iceberg. I worked for the Dean of Students' office during this time. Multiple victims came forward. Despite knowing there was a pattern, the Columbia administration convinced each of the victims that they were at fault so they wouldn't press charges." And now I'm going to continue down his thread. He says, when the New York Times ran a story about Marcellus being drafted into the NFL, a student reached out to the Times to report the allegations. The Times asked Columbia if there was any truth to it. The administration lied and said no. In 2001, Sports Illustrated ran a glowing profile of Wiley. In the article, Association athletic director Jackie Blackett, who worked to silence victims, gushed about Marcellus. Wiley called her his pseudo-mom. These weren't hamstrung administrators. They were complicit enablers. But there were some of us who were appalled by the university's treatment of the victims. At the time, I was a residence hall director working for Dean Linda Ainsworth, who was Wiley's house dean in 94. She did everything she could to intervene, and Columbia fired her for it. These women did exactly what Columbia tells students to do in these situations, and then the university systemically punish them for it. I hope these women get their justice. They've been waiting nearly 3 decades for it. A person commented in those comments and said, "Worst kept secret on campus. All the athletes knew he was a predator. It has been frustrating to watch him thrive all these years, but now hopefully there is some light and justice. The school just wanted their star to shine." Ooh, it's a lot. So it's a lot going on. I feel like the floodgates are being open. and people who were victims are coming to speak out. And so I wanted to share this particular Twitter thread because I see a lot of people saying, well, why did she wait so long? Why didn't she say it sooner? Which seems to happen a lot with victims. And clearly, or allegedly, I'll say, she did speak out and she did talk to the administrators at Columbia, who then allegedly forced her to still have to encounter this man on campus after he was sent home for a semester and put on academic punishment. So my hope and prayer is that any victim of any type of ABUSE finds justice and peace in all of this. Let's go ahead and quickly talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac. So the woman that came out and had an interview with Tasha K and accused Chris Bassett of having an affair with Chris Bassett and then getting pregnant by him. Her story was debunked by Giorgio Says. He had reached out to her. She has since posted, I lied. I never met Chris Bassett. I never talked to him. I made the whole thing up. I'm sorry that my actions hurt people. Did y'all hear what I said? I lied. I never met Chris Bassett. I never talked to him. I made the whole thing up. I'm sorry that my actions hurt people. Now, a lot of us who saw that story and saw the interview with Tasha K knew that it was bogus. It didn't even sound plausible. And then again, Giorgio Says reached out to her and then came to us and let us know how he debunked it. What I thought was interesting was that one of the Green-Eyed Bandits, Giselle Bryant, had her and Robin on their podcast, had quite a lot to say. And what's interesting is for two people who claim social media tries to tear them down, they don't follow social media, they sure get a lot of their stories and talk about things on their podcast. Because I used to be a listener well over a year ago from social media. But I thought that this was really interesting. I wanted to quote Giselle. Giselle had sat down to do an interview after these rumors came out from this young woman and said, I feel like it's unfortunate, but I tried to tell Candiace about her husband last season. Giselle exclusively told Us Weekly, and she didn't want to listen. So maybe she should have listened. I felt like her story was very believable. Again, talking about the woman who made these allegations. I felt like her story was very believable, adding that she hasn't spoken to Candiace since the alleged affair made headlines. It's actually none of my business, and I really don't even care, but it's unfortunate. For those of you who've been watching this season of The Real Housewives of Potomac, Giselle had a conversation with Karen because we know that Karen brought up rumors about Juan last season, which seemed to prove true, that he was seen out with a woman that looked like her, because that young lady, the coach, did look like a younger version of Karen. Anyway, Giselle told Karen a couple episodes ago that she needed to apologize to Robin for bringing up rumors, which I find funny because, listen, whether you like Giselle or not, we know that her MO is what? Bringing rumors onto the show to talk about. So now I wonder if she's going to give Candiace an apology. Again, she demanded Karen pretty much apologize to Robin for talking about rumors. And Giselle and Robin talked about this particular rumor on their podcast. And now we have the young woman coming out saying she lied and she never met Chris. Just thought that was interesting to talk about. I have my own theories about some of these ladies on Potomac, and their relationships. I'll probably be talking about them in my recap of Potomac. I'm not going to lie. This season already, in the words of Marlo Hampton, has drained me. And I know that it could get better and could be funny. And we're only getting ready to be 3 or 4 episodes in. But to start out on the type of mess that it's already starting out on is like, come on. When you put people together in a room, even if someone subtly brings up what someone said about the other, like drama is going to happen. But I can't stand feeling like I'm watching my housewives punch a time clock and then go off to be messy. People are saying, Ashley just doing her job. I didn't know that being a housewife part of your job description was coming on camera lying. I didn't know that. It's one thing if Ashley had brought up, which she still should not have, but brought up the article from over 2 years ago that she read about Wendy and her family. But you bring it up and then you take it back to Wendy as if this girl said it and she didn't. So I'm over that whole thing, watching the setup happen. At least let me believe like the subject was brought up organically. Hey, Nene. Speaking of which, they're saying that, you know, Bravo followed Nene on social media and Nene followed Bravo. My question was, had they ever unfollowed each other? Like, I was really wondering, did someone catch them unfollowing each other before? And so now them following each other is really a thing? Or did someone just happen to go and see if they were following each other? And they are. I don't know, because I don't remember us talking about, or, you know, the social media streets talking about them ever unfollowing each other. And I know y'all saw that Nene and Cynthia are in Dubai. What do y'all think of Nene and Cynthia? I'm not even going to say rekindling a friendship, because who knows, maybe they're just taking each other for who they are. And if they're together, they're together. Maybe they're travel buddies. Maybe they're in a travel club. Who knows? But what would y'all think about them rekindling their friendship? I feel like Nene has done and said a lot. But we also know that Cynthia is very forgiving. I don't know. What do y'all think? Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, and I will be back with another video. Talk to y'all later. Bye.